Hi everyone. Okay, today we're going to do a really interesting video. I've never done anything like this before, but the theme is that I've discovered that over my life I have taken on so many different personalities, and I've got and it's an interesting conversation because I think you probably have gone through it too. I've got distinct people that I was and I am in my life, and I'm starting off with kind of a black backdrop because I'm using some of my clothes and things just for fun here, to talk about my early childhood. Was pretty nondescript in terms of a person. I was enjoying life. I was in a situation with my family. We moved to Canada. I was just exploring new things. I got my travel bug, I think, then, but I was pretty much neutral in terms of my style. I was just trying to do my best in school. We moved a lot. I was just getting into school. And then when I was 17, 18, my mom died, and I've got the black to represent that because I think that was for me a really turning point in my life. And I didn't wear black necessarily all the time, but for me, black was kind of representative of how I felt and the person that I was. Very sad and lost. And I moved to Colorado. I think I've told this story so many times, but I moved to Colorado and I went to school there, and then I discovered India. And the person that I went to India, this is the kind of clothing that I wore for many, many years. I really was a bohemian person. I moved from that sad kind of, conservative person into something more bohemian and buoyant and fun-loving, and as you do when you're in your early 20s. I mean, this was my life. I was at university. My first trip to India was an exploration of the different religions because I was studying comparative religion, and so I was into this. I was into this kind of lifestyle. And I really loved that person. She lived in Colorado. She was fun and sensual and spiritual and all those things. I still am many of those threads, and you'll find this. I think that a lot of the threads from your life come poking up in different waves. Like that sad person came up during my divorce, and that kind of very sort of dark and somber. But this person, this one right here, I loved her. I love her. I mean, I love the way that she explored life. Everything was an adventure. It was really wonderful. So that person kind of moved then into relationships. And then, I met my future husband, and we both went to work at Microsoft. And I've actually got, just my little suit on here because it was a black suit. This is what I wore to work. I had a little colorful blouse underneath it, but that was my lifestyle for many, many years. And it was actually when I started wearing berets, and I think I've lost my berets here, but when I started to take on that character of a beret person. And here we go. So this is my working person, the professional person that I was. And I've got some lovely pictures of me during this time as with glamour shots, where I was really into like looking pretty, looking beautiful, fitting in, looking young. This was my persona that really took over my life when I was in my early 30s. And of course the children then came along, and it was back to kind of like, whoa, being a mom. That was it, and I got my hair cut really short. And it was just that kind of getting by the years of kids and family and travel. And it was a good time. It was a happy time. And I think this person kind of came back a little bit and was really happy with, finding a place in the world, finding a place back in the more, and Microsoft as well, that where I worked became much more adventurous and fluid, and it wasn't so much a focus on corporate, behavior, but it was more just creativity and doing good things. So my work environment, I threw the coats away. And I kind of just wore what I wanted to wear in a nice way, but it was more creative and again, bohemian. So that was my kind of middle of my life persona, the mom, the caring person, and I still am that person, and never changed at all. I mean, the person focused on shaping a happy life for my children and educating them in a way that they would thrive in the world, and also myself. And I didn't make too many friends during that time. I wasn't kind of a super social person, but my children were my life, and pretty much still are, to be honest. And that's how, that kind of time in my life, that person in my life, that 40s and 50s. And then, of course, I turned into, my 60s. And that person really started to conform to society's views of aging. This is when I was early 60s working at Microsoft, terrified that I was going to be my job was going to be reduced, or my responsibilities, I was going to be, not taken seriously. And there were things that happened even in the workplace that proved that to be the case, that, it was a young culture and there was just a lot of currency that was lost when you became 60 years old. So it was in that years, that was the years of the 60s, that my 60s, not the 60s, but my 60s, that went back to kind of a corporate world with 60 and me. I mean, if you look at my early videos, I was very much, on my face, head on, what do you call them? Full face videos, interviews. Not anything that displayed a lot of kookiness or craziness. I was kind of heads down, and I was delivering information to my community and growing it and doing the same things every day. And it was more like running a business. In the early days, I found that business person again, and she came back. And then some strange person started emerging. I don't know who she was. Where's my hat? This person. Remember this person? It was like, okay, well, 60 and me's having fun. I think I'm going to go have some fun too. I'm going to move from just talking about aging to actually living it and going out into the world and traveling and doing all kinds of crazy things. Going just on day trips to, I don't know, Innsbruck, and things I'm still doing, things that were really a way of expressing this other new emerging person that was coming into my life, the one that knew life was not going to go on forever and ever, that life was going to be short-ish. And I started to have a few medical challenges in my 70s, and then here I am today. I think I'm probably this person right now, back to the Bohemian self, more dressed in the kind of funky clothing, lots of dangly necklaces like this one. Just relaxing a little bit about aging and knowing that it's going to be okay, and also just going out into the world and having fun. I mean, that kind of is my beach look, my travel look, but my look. I mean, this is me. I'm just, and I'm defining all these stages by looks, because how else can I do it really, except to tell you in lots of language and lots of words, but this is me now. I'm out there in the world with my berets on, and that's kind of my statement piece. I pop a brooch in there just for a bit of personality. But in my heart of hearts, I think I've come back to my Bohemian 25-year-old that lived in Boulder, and just was always looking for adventures and discoveries and new people, and wanting to help the world, wanting to help others, wanting to support, of course, my family now. And I don't know what you feel, but have you been through these kind of stages in your life? I hope that wasn't too disruptive, just one person to the next. But I just felt like it was helpful to show it with hats and clothes, because I did actually take on personas that had a look to them, as we all do. So share yours. I'd really love to know what kind of stages you went through in your life and kind of where you are now, and what you feel about this movement of maybe a cycle of life repeating itself in your 70s and 60s and 70s. What do you think? Take care, everybody. I hope this has been fun. It was certainly fun for me. I've got hats all over the place now to find a home for. But I hope that you're doing great. And again, thank you for being here. Share your stories about the personalities and the identities that you've had in your life, and whether you're back to some where you were, or you're into a whole new role. Let's chat. Take care, everyone. Lots of love.